times without Israel existing as a nation. Here's number 4. It's the sign of Jerusalem under Jewish rule. This is Luke 21. This is Jesus. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Then let those who are in the midst of her depart. And let not those who are in the country enter her. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe to those who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing babies in those days, for there will be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people, and they will fall by the edge of the sword, and be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by Gentiles until the times the Gentiles are fulfilled. Now, Jesus prophesied that 40 years before it came to pass. By the way, Daniel also in Daniel 9 prophesied exactly the same thing, that the Jerusalem would be destroyed. But Jesus also says Jerusalem will be trodden underfoot by the Gentiles until the times the Gentiles are fulfilled. So the Roman general Titus came, he killed over 1 million Jews. He destroyed the city of Jerusalem. He destroyed the sanctuary. He took the rest of the Jews captive and led them back to Rome, scattered them around the world, just like the Bible says they would. But then in 1967, Jerusalem was reunited under Jewish control, and that was a major, major end-time sign. Now, these things, like I said, these are from the Bible. This has been in circulation for thousands of years. These are not new things, and they're not esoteric. They're not secret or hard to divine. These are clear scriptures that say things that are going to happen in the end times. This is the next sign, the sign of the division of the land of Israel, Joel 3. For behold, in those days and at that time, when I bring back the captives of Judah and Jerusalem, like we just said, I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will enter into judgment with them there on account of my people, my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. They have also divided up my land. I've been talking to you about the Biden administration. They're trying now to take East Jerusalem. They're trying to open a consulate in East Jerusalem for the Palestinians, which gives the Palestinians ownership of East Jerusalem. It recognizes the Palestinians as having the ownership of East Jerusalem. Israel's saying, why don't they put it over in Ramallah? Why don't they put it on the West Bank? The Biden administration says, no, we want to put it in East Jerusalem. We want to recognize the Palestinians' right to East Jerusalem. They want to take away the Golan Heights. They want to move them out of the West Bank and out of East Jerusalem where they have settlements. The land, they took away Gaza. They took away the Sinai. The land of Israel is being divided by the United States, by the United Nations. This is happening in your lifetime, and God says that He is angry, that He is going to bring all the nations down and to enter into judgment with them there at the same time. In those days and at that time, when I bring back the captives of Judah and Jerusalem, I'm going to enter into judgment with all the nations because of the way they've treated my people. They've scattered them around the nations, and they've divided up my land. And by the way, it is God's land. No man can claim that land. It is God's land. This is sign number 6. The sign of Jerusalem being the most controversial piece of property on the earth that would cause Armageddon. Jerusalem right now, in the news right now, is in the news more than any other place. It is the most difficult foreign policy issue of the entire earth. No one can solve that problem. This is Zechariah chapter 12. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding people when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all the nations of the earth are gathered against it. The last scene of human history is the entire earth coming against Jerusalem. And during the Obama administration, the United Nations was trying to impose a two-state solution on Israel. Impose means they're going to militarily impose. They're going to force Israel to give up East Jerusalem. And this is what's going to happen. They're not going to give up East Jerusalem. The Jews have consistently said that Jerusalem is the eternal, indivisible capital of Israel. The world will hate them for that. They will continue to pressure them for that. This is happening in our news right now. You don't have to look around to make this thing happen. This is happening right now. But it's going to get worse until the point that there's an ultimatum given by the United Nations, the armies of the world, but they will ultimately come against Israel. Jerusalem is the most difficult issue today and the most contested piece of real estate on the earth. And here's sign number 7, the sign of worldwide anti-Semitism, Zechariah 14. Behold, the day of the Lord is coming, and your spoil will be divided in your midst, for I will gather all the nations to battle against Jerusalem. The city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravished, half the city shall go into captivity, but the remnant of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then the Lord will go forth and fight against those nations as he fights in the day of battle. Jerusalem, Israel right now, the Jewish people, they're persecuted all over the world. This is the most persecuted group of people in the history of the world. I mean, generationally, for millennia. Right now in France, tremendous anti-Semitism in France, Germany, the EU in general, also in the United States, college campuses, many cities around America, there is increasing anti-Semitism. This is a major sign of the end times. So I've just told you about 7 major signs that have already happened. These aren't things that are going to happen. These things are already happened. And I said at the beginning of this teaching, I'm not just saying that we're living in the end times. I'm saying we're living at the end of the end times. And if there's ever been a time that we need to be looking up and watching for Jesus to come, in the midst of all the lousy stuff that's happening in the world, Jesus is coming. And that's what I keep telling you is the whole purpose of this program is to educate and encourage. I want to educate you about end time theology, end time scriptures, and I want to encourage you that everything that is happening is telling us that Jesus is coming. Now we're going to go to the subscriber only portion right now. I'm going to talk about the Biden administration, the war